want to allow yourself to identify, your strategy at the right point in time. And most importantly, you want to adjust it appropriately to the specific conditions so that you can take advantage of the situation. Okay. So whoever learns a certain specific knowledge, okay, whoever unlearns is constantly open to new ideas, new processes, new thoughts, right? Because we call it emptying your cup. Don't think you know it all. Don't think you know it all. Matter of fact, there's a webinar going on today that's been running for the past couple of days with one of the companies that we're top earners of. And there are guests and speakers and people coming out for this virtual event that know some things that work for them and they share it. But the people that are attending, they're coming in with an empty cup. They're coming in with information. They were like, I'm ready to learn. Share it with me, something like I've never heard it before. That's what they want. And that's the way you should be. You should always be a student and always like figure out. And don't put yourself like, I know it all. I've heard this before. I heard it from this. Who cares? Hear it again. Unlearn.
Because something happens when you hear something more than one time. You get something out of it that you didn't get before.
Right. And it might come from a different messenger,
a different aspect of it. I know
exactly you'll hear the message over and over from different messengers in this industry, but did you get the message?
Exactly.
Did you get the message? That's important that you understand that you got the message. No matter if you heard it 100 times, which person resonated with you the most that spoke to you, that you said, you know what? I'm here. I'm hearing you. Yes, this I can relate to. Even though you heard it 50 times from somebody else and it didn't click, but finally it clicked with a specific messenger. That's what I'm saying. The messenger.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My interpretation of unlearning is a little bit different. Okay. When we grew up, we've learned to do things a certain way. And for us to grow as entrepreneurs, we have to unlearn the way that things that we learned in the past. So let me give you an example. Dad or mom said, what do you think? We can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees, right? What does that do? It really gives you a negative effect towards money, right? So when it's time for you to start to be an entrepreneur and it's time for you to invest, you're more likely not to invest because you're scared of losing money, but you're not thinking about the actual ability to get more out of it, right? So for instance, if in the past you had a bad relationship with money, it's not your fault. It's just because of the way you grew up and the way you were taught. What happens is, as you grow older and you say, you know what, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. Now I need to start thinking about how to learn new things. That requires unlearning the old habits, the old paradigms, the old way of thinking, to learn new habits, new paradigms, and new ways of thinking. And those new paradigms, those new ways of thinking, some new habits are uncomfortable. And the only reason why they're uncomfortable is because you only know the other way. So when this happens, there's something that, there's like a block, right? We call it a block. And I call it a mental shackle, right? It's just a shackle, just keeps you like locked up, like in a prison, but it's your own mental prison. And it's because your subconscious mind is so used to thinking this way. When you are an entrepreneur, it's like, it's a whole opposite direction from what you've ever done. So therefore, everything is just so uncomfortable, so weird. And it's really difficult to kind of grasp in the very beginning because it's very unfamiliar. Okay. So I always recommend everybody unlearn everything that you've learned in the past because it's not suiting you well, and start learning from scratch. Okay. And you have to unlearn the old things. That is the key to success. And I know that because whenever I learn something new, I always get uncomfortable, and it's a weird feeling. It's like, oh, this is kind of weird, you know what I mean? But and then once I go through it, I'm like, oh, I got a new outlook out of life now. I got a new lesson to learn that I didn't understand or I didn't know before. So the more that we keep getting uncomfortable, we keep learning new things, and we start unlearning the older things, right? This is where we get closer and closer to our goals, our vision, exactly what we're trying to, to obtain, what we're striving to achieve, and things like that. Very, very, very important.